Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Moyer here with Jay Moyer Coaching and Recruiting. Last week we talked about where to start in the recruiting process, and I advise you guys to sit down with 3 coaches whose opinion you trust the most and ask them what level of college baseball they see you fitting in. From there, sit down with your parents and talk about what part of the country and how far from home you feel comfortable going. This week, I want to talk to you guys about how to tell if you're the right fit or if there's a need at the current schools you're looking into. So you've got it narrowed down, you know what part of the country, you know what level you're a fit at. Here's some questions that I want you to ask yourself. Go to their roster and find out the answers to these questions so you know before you email them if you have a chance of playing in their program. Number 1, does the program recruit locally, nationally, or internationally? You'll be able to go to the roster and see where every player is from. You'll be able to tell if that school recruits from in-state, out-of-state, or all over the world. Number 2, does the program recruit freshmen, JUCOs, or transfers? You'll see some schools in the NCAA that like to go with the 4-year transfers or the junior college transfers. Or you may see some that like to bring in a lot of freshmen. That way you know if there's a lot of JUCO kids, a lot of kids transferring from other schools to the school that you're looking into, they may not take a lot of freshmen. So those are things you got to look for too. Number 3, does the program have a need at your position? It may be a program that you like, they may be interested in you, but go to their roster, see how many players that are on their current roster that will be there at your position when you get there. You may be a shortstop, but they may have 3 shortstops that are all sophomores and juniors, and there may not be a need at your position at that school. So it's probably not a good school to reach out to. Number 4, how good are the players at your current position? Now, they may have 2 or 3 guys at your position, but those guys may not be performing on the field. Click on the statistics from the year prior. See how those players are playing. If those guys are playing well, you may have to look elsewhere for another school. But if those players are not performing on the baseball field, they may have a need at your current position. Number 5, what is the player to coach ratio? Obviously, this is outside of the NCAA. In the NCAA, they're allowed 4 coaches, a head coach, 2 paid assistants, and a volunteer. Once you get sub-NCAA, Division II, Division III, once you get down into the NAI and JUCOs, that's when the player to coach ratio becomes important. A lot of schools outside of the NCAA don't have the budgets for 3, 4, 5 coaches, but you will find that these programs have very high player to coach ratios. You'll see coaches that are there as volunteers. You'll see them working for small stipends as GAs or student assistants. So that's very important. Number 6, are players transferring out? This is a huge thing that I encourage all parents to look to. You may get the offer of your lifetime, the school that you're interested in and want to go to, but you go and you see every year 4 or 5 players are leaving. That's going to tell you something about the program, the coaching staff, or the players that they're bringing in. Something just doesn't stick. You don't want to be in a program where players are constantly transferring out because it becomes a high turnover rate and it's just not a good situation to be in over the long run. The next thing, does the program place emphasis on size? A lot of times we get players that are 5'8", 5'9", like myself, that are undersized, but they're good players. A lot of times these players don't pass the quote-unquote eye test. Some schools want players that pass the eye test. Others, they don't care how big or how small you are. So look at the height and weight of the players that they're bringing in constantly to know if these guys are all on the roster or all 6 foot and higher. You may not be a good fit just solely based on size. Find the programs that don't place emphasis on size if you're not the tallest and the strongest. And the last thing, look for what players are majoring in. This is a huge deal when you go to college. You may want to be a nurse or a doctor or an engineer. Look at what the players that are playing baseball on their current roster are majoring in, because they're going to have to choose something that they can juggle along with baseball. And then look for those programs that have a lot of kids either studying what you want to study or that may be a question you ask a coach. Hey, can I study this? Can I study that? Even though I know it takes a lot of time outside of baseball. So now that we know what level we fit at, where in the country we're at, take a look at the roster to see if you're an even better fit. For more information, I encourage you guys to join my Facebook group, Play College Baseball. It's a private group where I just encourage you to ask questions. I'm in there advising. There's other college coaches. in there advising too on the process. That's just want to be a place for you guys as players and parents and grandparents to come to ask the questions that you don't know the answers to, and we'll do our best to get them answered. Until next week, I'm Jeff Moyer. Thanks, guys.